Hello, I'm High Heel Knight. Welcome to my channel. This is my movie review of Don't Let Go. It is a suspense thriller. It's about police detective Jack Radcliff. One night he goes to the home of his brother and discovers that his brother, his sister-in-law, and his young niece have all been brutally murdered. Now, of course, as both a family member and as police detective, Jack definitely wants to solve the murder mystery, but also he wishes that he could somehow, some way, undo the terrible tragedy that befell his family. Well, one day, Jack gets a mysterious phone call from his late niece, Ashley. Ashley is calling from a few days before the murders take place. So Jack enlists Ashley to help him solve the case. They both have to try to solve the case on their ends of the time stream and hopefully prevent the gruesome tragedy from happening. I love time travel and time mechanic movies, so that's what drew me to this film. And I thought that a murder mystery would be a lot more fun to watch than a movie about people that fall in love via a magical mailbox or something like that. So I was disappointed by this film. I was very frustrated by this film. It was an interesting and unique ride while I was riding it, but by the end, I was left with a lot of, well, what about this? Well, what about that? Well, what about that? Not so much with the time communication thing. They leave that purposely vague, which is fine, which makes sense. But I'm saying by the time it ends and you know all the clues and you know all the facts and you know all the situations, it's like, okay, well, that takes care of one thing, but what about that problem and that problem and that problem? So that's my initial frustrations. There's a whole lot of, well, what about this at the end of the movie? The biggest frustration I have is that I was able to predict the guilty party literally as soon as the person came on screen and said his first line. I was like, okay, I'm betting you're either the guilty person or you're involved with the guilty people. And sure enough, I was right. So I'm like, I've already solved it and the movie has just started. I was hoping that with the crazy solving the case on both ends of the time spectrum and all the unique situations that come about them, learning things that are going on, that it might lead to a swerve or a big, something different. Like, nope, I called it. And the next thing I was frustrated with was the ending. Now, the ending itself is very visceral and gruesome. And I respect that. On the one hand, I definitely respect how gruesome and visceral the ending was. But personally, I would have preferred a different result. Okay? It does fit the story. I'm not saying it doesn't fit the story. I'm just saying I would have preferred different results, especially since we're dealing with time mechanics and changing the timeline and things like that. Like, hey, I was frustrated. So just more frustration on top of frustration on top of frustration. On the positive, the acting between the two leads is fantastic. David Oyelowo, which I probably mispronounced, and Storm Reid, they play Detective Jack and the young niece Ashley. They are fantastic together on screen. They are fantastic in their separate scenes. You really feel like a chemistry and connection between these two people. So on the front of watching these amazing performances, especially with Storm Reid. She was in A Wrinkle in Time, and trust me, this young lady has the potential to have an amazing career going forward if she doesn't fall in the usual traps of young actors growing up. But yeah, if you want to see brilliant performance between these two folks, check out the movie. Otherwise, steer clear. Especially if you think this is going to be a horror film, because this movie is made with a subsidy of Blumhouse. Blumhouse is known for making horror movies, and I've seen in some advertisement that this is some type of horror film. It's not. It's gruesome, it's bloody, but it's not a horror film. So yes, overall, check out the acting if you want the acting. Otherwise, I don't recommend Don't Let Go. Now, if you have seen the movie, I would love to know what you thought of the film. Be sure to share whatever comments you'd like in the comment section. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, or dislike, share, and subscribe. Once again, I'm High Heel Knight. Thank you for watching, and remember, find inspiration everywhere.